In 1970, mainstream rock music started to shift into what is now known as Southern rock.
Southern rock was doing great. They were doing wonderful in Capricorn, and Allman Brothers were, say, kicking butt, and so it just seemed like a good time, and we had some great songs.
At the same time, a songwriter named Buddy Bowie grew frustrated with having his demos bumped for jingles at Master Sound Studios owned by Bill Lowry and Bob Richardson.
I think we build a studio. Y'all want to be a part of it? And they said yes.
Big word was autonomy.
We didn't want to give up very easily on the idea.
Me and Buddy started looking around for a place where we could have a studio. And
I think Buddy, on some level, thought that the city of Atlanta would just embrace us.
Day one was kind of like we jumped the gun.
And some of us helped to do all that, and it seemed like it took forever.
We had a home.
We were so used to being home at Studio One, but
Studio One was more of a live feeling.
But the room had a sound, and Rodney Mills knew that room.
Bill Lowry was involved. He invested into it.
Had to be Buddy Bowie and the players and the rhythm section and everything they put out.
Al Cooper, who signed Leonard Skinner, he also liked the sound of the records and everything. So when he came to Atlanta to kind of scout out studios, he came to Studio One and he liked it.
So we did our first record there, including Freebird and, all those stuff on Pronounce, Leonard Skinner.
I worked with so many different groups there, and especially when Al Cooper came along, I worked with all of the groups that Al Cooper worked with.
I don't know if you know who Al Cooper is, but he is signing our band. We're going to be recording our first album.
Well, we recorded Sweet Home Alabama way before we recorded the second album.
Sitting in the control room and playing rather than out on the floor with earphones on. I like to do that.
Most of the time, people would overdub in the control room.
We would have both Barry and JR and Dean and Paul all in the control room, connected to the gear out in the studio.
It was great. I always enjoyed that tight working environment.
And even to this day, I want to record right in the control room. I want to be right there.
While Buddy thought he was building a home base for his band, what he got was much more. Buddy helped create an atmosphere where musicians could really create.
So you had the guy who owned it, not only pursuing sonic excellence, but he really knew his stuff as a songwriter, as a producer, as a manager, as an owner of the studio. So there was this drive there to make things sound right.
I figured, hell, if I made it to Studio One, that's the place that had the great sounds,
And Rodney, first of all, shout outs to him because he got the drum sound. He was famous for getting the drum sound.
It wasn't a guarantee that Studio One would make a star out of everybody.
During that time period, we cut hits.
Studio One became a place where hit songs were created, where musicians felt like it was home, and the sounds were magical.
It started my career as a producer.
At the point Studio One was doing pretty well and everything, it couldn't get any better for me.
That was probably my fondest memory because the dream had finally came true.